Greetings, Earthlings. Some more pickups came in the mail today, and actually a very difficult game to find came in the mail finally today. Um, I think I got that tip from Mr. Right Away episode. So I'm gonna show that one first. Actually, yo, he was not capping about that. This is one of the hardest. Okay, for every game console, and like the game could be cheap, but really maybe it shouldn't be cheap. There might be like 10 or 20 games that's like extremely low print, and I'm gonna get another casing for this eventually. But 1 second. The only thing I'm missing is the manual. I would say the only thing I'm missing, which from what I saw, I think the it's the same manual. So, yo, this is very elusive and hard to find on eBay or on the internet in general. Um, I would definitely say that I would when I was researching about it, I think you might have to find this game somewhere out like in Asia or another country. Because that was one of the only listings I saw of somebody who was selling those brand new was Play Asia. So this game might be hanging around out there, but it is not over. That disc is not over here in America. So, um, another copy of Devil May Cry HD came in the mail. And eventually I'm gonna wait for the PS4 whatever version to go down in price. I'm gonna buy those too. Um, Now I got 3 copies of Rush for Blood for the PS4. So one of them is actually a not for resale version, and the other two are the originals. Are the original for store display. So I got one not for not one not one damn where the heck is that? Oh yeah, one not for resale, and then I got two that's like this. So I'm actually happy for I got I got 3 Marvel versus Capcoms. Am I right or wrong? 1 minute, let me look at something real quick. Okay, so this is another interesting behalf too. 1 minute. Let me look at something. Okay. So 2 of these are not for resales, and one of these is like a is maybe the second printing of it. So you can even see the difference on the back of them actually of these 2 casings. There's a total difference on the bottom bar, like for how you see this one, and then how you see this one is all in white. So there's 2 different variants, and I don't really buy Xbox games, but Marvel vs. Capcom I'll buy those $5 too. So there's 2 different variants for the Marvel vs. Capcom Ultimates for the and most likely for the PS3 as well. There's 2 different variants. So that's out the way. Shoot. I'm very pleased about this. For these next 2 copies I bought. These are on sale for under 17 to 18 bucks right now. So I bought another 2 copies, Pocky Rocket Shrine. If anybody watched the past episodes, you saw I had like at least 20 pieces. That might be 22. And very pleased to have this in possession. Mr. Gimmick Special Edition. So this only came out in PAL in Europe and in Japan, and the last print was for the PS1. $500 for that, for a used copy of the PS1 copy. So next is to buy some copies of Evercade video games. Get a couple Evercade games, and yo, Thank you, Mr. Right Away, for that tip on this game. Because right while I saw his episode, I just immediately got on eBay, and somehow, luckily, there was a listing for this game for $12, and somebody was actually watching it. Unfortunately, when it comes to competing with like me on apps and stuff, I wouldn't wait past a day if I was y'all. Like, the only reason I'm gonna tell you me, I'll wait past a day or two or three or four is maybe I already have the object. But I wouldn't, like, if you ever looking for a game and you find it and that's the only one, like, you scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, that's the only one. Do not wait a day or two, beyond a day or two, to obtain it. You're gonna be boo-hooing when you see it sold, and then you never seeing that listing again, or for whenever. Yo, there are factory refurbished Nintendo Wii games, and I think Wii U games as well. I think even the 3DS, and it has a bar on the front on the casing saying refurbished. Yo, it's the same scenario. You'll be scrolling and scrolling and scrolling through Nintendo games forever before you might even find one of them on a listing. So these discs aren't common, and that's why I spent that $12 on that. Once again, like, versions of how I collect games. Definitely, if you're scrolling through 200 listings and this is the only one listing, that's unique. That's really standing out, like out of the masses. So who knows what price those will go up to because of how hard it is to, once again, like I said, find this game. Like, greatest hits, Call of Duty, Black Ops. Look up, try to Google it, try to Bing it, try to see if you're gonna see one listing that looks like that. You got to make sure that that disc says greatest hits. So, to be honest with you, it's just this disc and this piece of paper, because I think, if I'm right, the booklet is the same booklet for the original Black Ops. But see if you're gonna find that. That is the mystery question. See if you're gonna find it. And what let me even know even more was a little official was this the other person who originally listed that, Mr. Right Away or whatever. That was the same thing he was showing. That was exactly the same stuff he was showing. Right after I saw that episode, I bought the object. I found it. I didn't have to go scrolling. I saw it, and I bought it. So, yo, I really would say that as my best tip to people. Yeah, you see a game you want to get your hands on, yo, and it's the only listing. You better figure out your 1+1 and what it equals as fast as possible. Because if most likely there is other people who's gonna see that eventually, and then are you gonna obtain it or not? Who knows? Like what I wound up buying yesterday, getting Mega Man Legends 2, Armor Core, Parappa the Rapper, and a bunch of other fantastic objects. You can't wait forever and ever on these things. It doesn't. For me, it don't work like that. So if anybody know about any Marvel vs. Capcom's, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, whatever, Marvel superheroes vs. Street Fighter, all that series of sagas, all those discs is $50 disc. So GameStop I think I bought it out. GameStop had a sale, $5. I bought out what was online, and if people find them in the stores, you got it in the store. But $5, you gone. $5. $5 for the HDs. All right, bet. Out the pile so far, I might have 3 discs that I'm gonna return, and everything else I'm kind of, to be honest, satisfied with that I bought from GameStop right now. Now, when Black Friday come around in the next 3 months or whatever, well, 2 months or 3 months, whatever it is, when Black Friday comes, we'll see how GameStop does with their prices for things to be on sale. If anybody's into RPG games, Legends of Heroes, Trials of Cold Steel, Part 3 and Part 4 is coming in a double pack for the PS5. They're gonna charge out the gate $70, but I'm getting at least one copy of it because I don't even got Part 4. So that's definitely like the definitive addition to Part 4 right there to have the PS5 copy to it. So Part 4 is not gonna be a cheap disc. Most times it's funny when it comes to RPGs. It's like the ending of the saga. For some reason, those discs always disappear. If you look at the what is that Clash of the Titans or whatever, the thing with the giant monsters and whatnot. The second, or I think the third, the last disc is like the most expensive one. So yeah, common people. Even though you might see people, other people who collect games who might have 50,000, 100,000 following and whatnot, a person like me who only got 500 following is getting the same objects. Yes. Yes, it's real. Yes. Yes. Get your hands on Mr. Gimmick Special Edition. Get your hands on Pocky Rocky Restaurant. All these are sealed. Get your hands on them. Yo, definitely get your hands on them. Like, they're gonna be timeless pieces. Especially that the Nintendo Switch ain't, if I'm correct to say, ain't even no load time. From what I was hearing, that it's just you put the cartridge in and just immediately play. Psh, Nintendo Switch. I don't know how to say which one is gonna be the most, like Nintendo Switch or the PS4. Both of those systems gonna be some later down. Yo, as soon as the video predominantly, this is gonna be the main warning I'm gonna say to people when it comes to physical and digital media, which is already happening with video games. So there's certain video games that from putting it in, you need the internet to play the game. So I would say once like it becomes like 70 to 80% of games that all of them on the casings, let's say that it is internet required, it's a wrap. Once it starts becoming like predominantly all the disc for this next year, the next 2 years, if it all says internet required, like you gotta go connect to the internet as soon as you pop that disc in, that's it. It's a wrap. That's when I'm gonna say, like, it's really like how people keep saying in the news about this system's coming out and it's gonna be fully digital, or that system, or this, that, and whatnot. Once you start seeing these physical games say nothing but internet, nothing but internet, nothing but internet, not like if this would have want them saying internet required, yo, that would have I might have would have not bought this, to be honest with you. If in this era we're in right now, a lot of these games would have been internet required that I've been buying, I couldn't buy them because most of the games I've been buying for these 2-3 years or whatever, none of them has that internet required part on it. Most of them games like fall out of popularity in such a short amount of time that those games aren't even worth nothing. If you really think about like the Battlefields or any of those multiplayer games, by next year or the 2 years, it become like worth 50 cents. They wouldn't even give you a penny for that in GameStop. So I don't really buy no games really that say that internet required. Unless maybe if I would say if I was into the future like that, I could look at it as a serious collectible, or like how I should have maybe bought 2 or 3 of them, those Fortnite packs. It's only 4 of them so far. All 4 of those could wind up skyrocketing, and those is like only $20 if you get those when they go on sale. Collect the that's one suggestion I would say. Collect the Fortnite packs that come out for the PS4, PS5, or the Nintendo Switch. It's only 4 so far. It's not like through these past year or 2 years like they released tons and tons and tons of them and they're like all junk or whatever. I think it's only like 4 of them. And the first Fortnite disc, that's expensive. And one of those packs actually did go up in price to like $60, $70, I think. So, yup, this is one of the So far, they say like the rarest PS3 um, games you could obtain. And from what I was saying a second ago, the reason I think it is, I think this is more predominantly released in Asia. It's as you can see, it got the M title and all that. It's American, but I think this print might have been released mainly in Asia. I just don't see like a history of certain websites actually had it on their page and it's sold out. Like Walmart or Target or whatever. There's no pages that show this besides an Asian page I came across. So yeah, yup. There's collect misprints. Collect misprints. There's misprints for the PS2. There's misprints for the PS1. If I'm correct, for the probably PS3. I know for a fact for PS5. There's a 3D billiards game for the PS5 that on the side of the game, like on what I'm forgetting what to say on this part of it. It says Panda Express like remix on it. It was a misprint, and that was distributed at GameStop. It's a cheap disc too. I bought maybe 2 or 3 of those sealed and just put those away because of that. It was like a goof up. So those there's another thing that might come into the future of sealed games, but they didn't do it yet. But it exists with coins, which is called struck errors. So even though a machine might defectively print the CD wrong, like not clearly, or let's say what issue is going on with a lot of these games is like the paper is not properly aligned, so it could be an alignment error. And even if it was a tear, as long as it's fully sealed, that's a machine error, and that should kind of be unique. If you look up coin errors, there are ones that could be in the hundreds to thousands of dollars for a coin struck error. So I think that should be considered unique. If you get your hands on any disc that is a print error, which it exists in the wild, y'all. There are CDs, because I have one in possession, that I have maybe 2-3 copies of the game, but that one print is it looks all blur. It's wild blurry on the whole print of the CD. So I would consider that a rare disc. If they only printed maybe 10 of those like that, or 100 out of thousands and thousands, that's a rare possession to have a misprint like that. That's not supposed to be in possession. We're not supposed to have misprints of money and objects in possession. Even for those sneakers. That happened before with a pair of there was a pair of Air Maxes that didn't have that just had the AI, if I'm right, or something like that, that was in the stitching, and those sneakers ran crazy up in price. They was trying to recall them. So physical media. Physical media, y'all. There's a lot of physical media still out here to come across, and could be great values, man. I can't stop showing these kind of games, yo. And and I'm still alive, breathing right now. I'm still breathing as we're speaking to be able to have this in my physical possession, to be showing this on a video. Yeah, these are the type of games that's only like $36, but they're not gonna be cheap later. So I collect physical media, especially these kinds that you could just pop in. You don't need no internet. Just in case whatever nonsense they say of the future, you can't ban me from playing those games. You can't tell me, oh, I've been too naughty, so you're on punishment for a week or for 2,000 hours with these objects. That's what's gonna be happening more and more in the future. Oh, you're on timeout right now. You can't use your machine for this period of time. Even the same thing with if they continue to push those electric cars. The more points you get on your license, you can't activate into your car. You got too many points on your car. You got to go back to dummy car school. Imagine they do that with people with video games. They make you have to read. Oh no! Even though that's a great, I mean, for RPGs you have to read, obviously, but that's just hilarious, yo. Like you have to do like 12 or 35 hours of like anger online for Microsoft seminar to be able to be permitted to get back on to playing video games with people. Who knows? Digital anger management, and yeah, excuse me for stuttering, but digital anger management possibly coming soon. So if I got, I'm an old school gen, that I be angry. Well, I'll be angry on the machines that ain't connected to online. That's what I'll say. You know, keep it pushing, man. Get your physical medias, man. Get your physical. I actually bought the original copies of this part 3 because they claim a lot of people reviewed that as like the best of the series. And then I started buying these once I got the opportunity to get these for $5. That's like, yo, anything you can get for like $10, $5, that's basically like a steal. People are already paying $7 to $8 right now just to rent movies for the past maybe 2, if not longer, more years. And I'm talking about in the masses of thousands right now. Just because it's a form of convenience, which is the number one thing of America and all over the world, and a lot of stupid people's imagination is this path of I'm gonna get to this kind of level of financial to have all this kind of convenience around me, and it's not realistic. It's not realistic at all. Besides, you just always spending money to somebody else's hand. From how a lot. I mean, it's kind of selfish. It's kind of whack, but that's how the powers that be work. Well, not to say it's selfish. I think it's kind of good business of the direction of in modern day. I would definitely say for a lot of developers and game companies, I support for them to come out digitally first, and then if they can make a substantial amount of money, then they come out with the media physical through a budget. Because like, let's say there is a community of 100K and better that want to buy the object, then boom, like they supported you already for a year and a half, 2 years. Put it out, buy that, and now you still got both running. So that's how I look at what's probably been going on right now, maybe for the past couple of years, is that if people can make good budgets through the object on digital media, then they'll put it out physical. However, if the next gens of consoles don't have a physical port, there is no way to make it physical. So I have a feeling that the next Nintendo is gonna be something like the 3DS. So like how the DS had its own cartridge and then the 3DS had a different, like a little bit of a bigger cartridge. I have a feeling that might be what is gonna be their next step, and then that could be another good 5 years, hopefully. I would assume of physical media. And then we see what happens after the next 5. But I'm kind of a little more slowing down how I'm buying physical media games. I heavily follow Japanese developers, and if I'm impressed by what they're making, if they come out with a physical media, I will buy it. So I can't stop to keep telling people, if you want to find out about really dope and cool games and stuff like that, you got to get on Twitter. The news ain't like right here on this. No, you got to go on Twitter. And on Twitter, it's the world. It's basically, if anybody come from the world of video game magazines, which I feel like was the original source of how a person can see what's going on in Japan or in the world, Twitter is the new Game Pro and EGM and all that magazine. It's the new. It's not YouTube. It's not no video like this of, oh dude, I got the exclusive information for you today that came only no, it's right on Twitter, y'all. It is right on Twitter, and I love it because they're nice enough to show you, not to say all in the steps of what they're making, but they're showing you before you would averagely see it, like in American social media. They're showing you right there at the time to say on their pages, on their Twitter pages, and there's some good gems that I know about coming out in these next couple months. Not to say past, in the upcoming next couple months. There's more Japanese 2D games that will be coming out. Also for the PS5 most likely. And that is like my main hint to anybody about collecting games in this modern era. It is not really the 3D games. It's maybe a few 3D games, but I would look predominantly towards more collecting the 2D games. I feel like that is the game, that is the physical media that is more undermined in the modern era of game collecting. I consider it the 2D. It's the 2D games. Is more, most people draw towards the 3D and what is now. So if the what is now is not a 2D looking game to the masses, then it's a 3D object. And a lot of the gems is going to be the 2D games. Flat out. A lot of the gems is going to be the 2D games. I just feel like this is like the best era. I don't know why. From a lot of my studying of physical games throughout all the eras and whatnot, there are medias from the Game Boy Color era that is fantastic technology. There is media from the Game Boy Color era, fantastic technology. The NES, the Game Boy. It's certain, but when I mean media, it'd be like 2-3 games. It's not like a bunch of games. It's only like 2-3 games. That's the thing about video game systems, that it don't be that much games. That's the ones that really do something that is more different from all the others. So this era of physical media is like the best of all that right now. And I feel like people don't talk about that enough like that. This era we're living in right now, from 2019 or 20 up to right now, every other year they put out maybe 5 or 6 bangers to get your hand out of, like, and let's say each year 30 or 50 games come out. It's like 5 to maybe 6 bangers that's really the ones to pick up. And I'll tell you, a lot of them were 2D games. The Metroidvanias. It were 2D games, yo. The shmups. Yo, the whole IN published the whole Cotton collection. Gold price chart Cotton for from Japan, and look at the value of any Cotton game. IN put out the whole Cotton collection, basically. Every Cotton game you could want, and the last of the most modern Cotton, like, so IN, Taito, Natsume, a couple other companies, y'all see when people talk about it later down the line about physical game media, and like you're gonna you'll see, y'all will see later. When it comes to people who like resell or whatever, let's say 5 or 10 years from now, so that's a decade from now, it's not too many of them. It's not too many of them. In the future, when I resell, it's not gonna be in one blast. It's gonna be like a couple things per year. And I'm gonna be doing, and then that's how I'm, like, later, like a couple years from now, when I start reselling, it's a couple things per year I'm gonna sell. And then, God forbid, if whatever, to the age I could reach up to, I'm gonna pass on the objects to the younger gen. Cause when it comes to anybody, if I could pass it down to 10 years old, 20 years old, like another 20 years, 40 years from now, this stuff is gonna be even crazier in price. 40. There's a bunch of games that's in the thousands and thousands, and that's only 25 years ago. So I'm talking about over the next 20 to 40 years right now. A lot of the stuff I've been buying for these 3 years, I'm putting it away for the next 20 to 40 years. For my behalf, I will be selling in the next 5 years to 10 years. I'll sell a certain, maybe 25% of what I have have overall. Whenever it comes to like I stop being able to collect because like it's ridiculous or whatever it may be, I'm gonna take maybe 25% to the side, and the rest of it is for like the next, like when I'm 60 and older. So Shadow of the Ninjas next to come out. Hopefully, I think likely it's coming out in 20 maybe next September or around summertime. It's coming. It's coming eventually in some kind of months. That new Shadow of the Ninja because I'm just looking forward to it. That's another one. Like why I'm so like not to say passionate and like collecting like this Nintendo Switch era. I never got to collect through none of the Nintendo eras. I never got to collect through really no eras. I had some good games. I had Demon Crest for the SNES. Didn't know that was gonna become expensive. I had Metal Gear Solid for the Game Boy Color. I didn't know that was gonna be expensive. I had Project Justice Cannon Spike for the Sega Dreamcast. I ain't know. I didn't have bangers like that. I had a couple games for the Sega Saturn that not too super expensive, but I had PS1 from the beginning when they first came out, so that was the long box era. But I was always trading in my games, getting whacked in the head as a little kid, bringing in 3 games for another game, and then what used to kill me at times is that if you ever trade in certain games that could be good games, and you're trading it for some junk, that is I could say for anybody that should be so hurtful, bro. To trade in games for junk. Nah, man, that's not a cool one. But if the corporates that make these physical games, powers that be, will continue to put out, but it's kind of looking, not to say interesting or weird, but the OGs are starting to collaborate with, not to say really big people right now, to publish their games, and that is kind of interesting. The Jurassic Park collection that's coming out from Limited Run, that's LucasArts. LucasArts got beyond enough money to put that out themselves. So to see these certain companies willing to do publishing with people, it shows a shift of them not publishing this thing themselves. And I don't know. Who knows where this is going to? Who knows where this future is going to for physical media? Limited run games and certain other people might be the only way. When they stop really putting out physical media, that might be the only way to get it after. Like, I don't know. It's gonna be some way of like home brewing, I feel, maybe to say. How we're gonna get media later on. But as a person who collects physical media, I would explain to y'all, I'm not going after every game. I'm not going after, I'm not looking, to be honest with y'all, when it comes to these Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom, I really don't care if it's the not for resale or this one. I'm happy for it to come complete in box, and that's really about it. You look up Marvel vs. Capcom 2, $70 to $100 game. You look up Part 1 or the Super, and so this was on sale for $5, gone. I'm very satisfied for that one. There's not a lot of Xbox games, to be honest with you. I would really buy. So the Xbox 360, the original Xbox and Xbox 360 market is going away. This is a part of that market. What you think is gonna happen once this you can't basically rebuy this no more. You're gonna need to either have that download. That's what they were saying already. You have to have that download, or you need to have the physical media. As simple as that. And eventually, take that maybe as a warning too. If the regular Xbox and Xbox 360 market is leaving at the end of this year, what do you think about the PS1 and PS2 market? You know? So I would use, how I would use any marketplace, like when it comes to the three consoles, Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox, to say to y'all, I would if you wanted to look at how they're gonna do their businesses and find a genuine source that's actually I consider better than them, as your prime example, use Steam. Look at Steam and look at their catalog and how much stuff from like 15 years ago is still there for you to download. How long do they keep stuff on their catalogs around? And I would definitely say take that same experience and apply it over to those other three systems. It's maybe gonna be 2 times even worse when it comes to the three home consoles compared to Steam. Microsoft needs to go in cahoots with Steam. Steam should be their marketplace. Xbox marketplace. Your Xbox. My perception of Xbox is a PC. You're supposed to be with Steam. Valve is supposed to be the Pixar of Xbox. You're supposed to give them billions. That don't even make sense to me. How they invested in the Activision Blizzard. Y'all supposed to go hard with Steam and Valve from really a long time ago. Even on top of that Left 4 Dead remake they came out with recently for the PS4, whatever systems, and it didn't do well. It don't matter to me. We talking about Valve. They've been ahead of the game. I look at them like Pixar. If that's to give a compliment, I look at them like a Pixar games. So yeah, anybody, if you're an Xbox person who passionately loves Xbox and whatnot, you need to start buying your physical medias now. The marketplace, they already been talking about it. It's not staying around for a long time. It is not staying around for a long time. And we'll see after by next summer. We're already at the end of September. By next summer that we just came out of, we'll see what happens with how people how this is cheap now. We'll see how people are playing around with how cheap it is next summer. That's good. I'm curious about that. I just got these games over this past week. We're gonna see how next summer is going to look when it comes to these objects right here. That's what I'll say. I'm interested. I'm very interested by next summer. How is PS1, PS2, Xbox 360 gonna look? We'll see. We will see. But how do I buy games? I buy low, put it away, forget about it. Every day there's at least, or every other day there's at least some kind of object you waste money on that doesn't even bring you back value. Anybody who needs to stay buying sneakers and stay buying some kind of at the moment trendy clothes, like you're bugging. That brings you back. Like they're trying, that's just so funny how they're trying to bring that out. Like they're trying to push this category of being able to sell retro clothes and time capsules. That has not really existed for never, to be honest with you, when it comes to making money, y'all. Garments are garments that's like, not to say meant to just like be a part of the past, but like um Levi jeans that you can find from the 1800s. Yeah, you might have 30 or more $1,000 on you, but polo hoodies and Gucci sneakers, go and look. Go look up Gucci sneakers, whatever. All them brands that you see the stars and actors wear. Go look up on eBay or anywhere where it's a source of how you can make all this money by obtaining that. It's as simple as a peanut butter jelly sandwich. Simple as a, well, it ain't really simple. It ain't that simple for everybody to make that. But I had Marvel vs. Capcom 2 for the yo, you know it's funny? Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I'm gonna tell y'all, most likely, I don't know about the drink. I had it for the Dreamcast, but I wouldn't be shocked it was like $5 for the PS2. I wouldn't be shocked at all a long time back that game was only like $5-10 for the PS2 and the Xbox. I would not be shocked at all. I think predominantly all these video games, but there's a for some blessed reason, y'all. If anybody who really likes really deep in collecting games, if you ever looked at like the Funko Land newspaper that like they have on the internet, it'll show you like the prices for like certain games that was like super expensive now. They've been doing this basically for 40 years. Games go down in price where you could grab them for like $5. And the difference of, you see, this life I would say I grew up in is the access of information where you can kind of not understand the value of certain things. That's kind of, I would feel, a deeper knowledge that people, I would say, from the past, if they was able to, I don't know how they was able maybe to pick up on that, but to know like the value of certain things and like where you could buy them at the low before it is, that's a gift. That's a gift. Not like just it just randomly happened, but like to be able to acquire that knowledge. Yo, 3 copies so far. I think I might supposed to have one more on the way, but 3 copies so far. I bought 4, matter of fact. That's what it was. I bought 4 copies. And that was a good sale. I'm satisfied for that. Spent $87, I think. And I'm gonna return maybe like $20 worth. So I spent 60, maybe $3 or $62, whatever. So put that away. We'll see what happens over the next 2 years. Oh, it's $70 now. It's $100 now. I only paid $20 for it. Get my $100, and I still got 3 chilling. And that's how I collect, y'all. I collect buying 2s and 3s. 2s and 3s. If I could have found another copy or 2 of these, I would have bought this immediately. I would buy it immediately. But the dude who I said earlier in the video, Mr. Right Away or whatever, she was right. Yo, screen, take a screenshot. Ka-chink, chink. You're not finding that. You're just not finding that. So, how to value that? I'm not even thinking about that. I'm just putting it away. It's gone for now. Yeah, I regret selling some of the games I sold in the beginning. And when I mean the beginning, I mean like 5 years ago, if not. I had maybe a couple Nintendo games I wish I would have never. I had Majora's Mask. I had Shadow the Ninja NES. And that's about it. That's the 2 games I would say I regret. I had those like more later down the line in my adulthood. I would say I regret not still having that in possession. But yo, to the person on eBay who slipped up and sent me the wrong package and then got it back and said thank you for getting this to me. Thank you for getting that to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love getting my hands on these objects that is like insanely difficult to find. Yo, it is hard to find. It is real. Yo, okay. What I mean hard to find, I'll say even once again when I talked about those Nintendo Wii repos. I don't even try to look for those. That I'll be honest with you, I'm not even really gonna try to look for that. I already saw what it's like to look for it, and I can't stay doing that. That's like endless scrolling. Like every other day, you're gonna have to endless scroll. Well, really, you gotta have saved listings in hopes that it pops up. Oh, there's a pop up. Somebody posted under your saved listing, and it's and also like endless scrolling. I can't. That's a lot. That's a lot of endless scrolling. But if you're lucky enough, if you really do dig deep, you might find, you know, that sunken treasure. That, yo, there's a disc that if I'm right, he's looking for. That there's another collector or two that I know of that is looking for it too. The NFL Blitz 2000 PS1 greatest hits. There's certain disc that is low print run, and yo, for some reason everybody is not paying attention. Be honest with you, you want to get people's, when it comes to people who got money, who's serious about looking for it, you got to put it out on social media where it goes viral, and then people could see that viral video of that object like, word, I might have some video games. And then when they all go through their closet, that's when those are going to come out of the wild. That's the only way I would tell you more copies will pop up like this out of the wild. It would have to take a video to go viral. That, like, do you have this disc right here? It would have to like, it have to be a video that goes wild viral, so that millions of people would have to really see it across really America or wherever. I would say, yeah, mainly. And then maybe some of them could find it out of their closets that there's another 1,000 copies out there that could be listed on the internet. But aside from that, these games there's games sitting in people's closets that's worth maybe $500, $1,000. There's game collections people have right now that they don't know might be worth $5,000 to $10,000. There's people who got VHS collections, cassette tape collections, comic book magazine collections. There's people who got, not even call it collections, but just a pile of stuff that's in their attic or whatever closet. There's people who got this stuff. It's just forgotten. It's just forgotten. It's not even really thunk about forgotten for like a time capsule and come back to it and it's worth something. It's just really forgotten about. When it comes to like a lot of treasure across America and across the world, most people just, that's not a part of their daily life to think about some magazines that they got hoarded away in some closet or whatever. But hoarders is your greatest opportunity to treasure. Hoarders is one of the, I would tell you, your greatest opportunities to treasure. That hoarder could have had a very well financial life, where, like, let's say from in their early 20s they was always able to buy toys and gifts and things for their family, and for some odd reason they just became a hoarder through their entire life. They could wind up having like things from the 1940s, 1950s that's worth a lot of money in their crib still, or the 70s or 80s, if they bought tons of video games always for every other Christmas for 20 years for their grandkids. They can wind up having like some nice boxes. So hoarders could have some great things, because to an extent I could be considered hoarding. I would say To an extent, I could be considered hoarding, but really, I'm just time capsule. I'm, yeah, doing a time capsule on objects that I feel retain value. Um, Straight up, I feel they retain a good value to them. That if I ever need another source, unless we go into apocalypse, as long as the world keep growing and going forward, this is all digital data. This is all physical, electronic data. Or every video game cartridge, CD, it's all a form of data. That's and as long as it can survive, it's endless time capsules. Now, will any of those time capsules be similar to like records that be only $1, $2? That's been on these whole 40 years right now. And yo, basically, physical media, as in music CDs, is coming to an end. Records is kind of an exclusive thing. Records are still being printed, but like, so when it comes to physical media, the future is provided by independent people. Definitely, people who got budgets to buy the machinery to produce those kind of things. So I would definitely buy a factory if I could. If I could afford it, I would buy a physical print and media factory for anybody who still needs CDs printed 20 years later for these game systems. Boom. You could print 100,000 copies per developer. Cartridges, all that stuff. I think that's a smart factory to invest into for the future. Is a manufacturing factory for these objects. Once all the major competitors go out of or bought out, let's say by the powers that be, digital, or go out of whatever, that'll still have a pocket for another person to make money off of still creating them objects. So it's here, y'all. It's still here. You can still obtain this kind of stuff. Um, you know, I say invest into things that could create value for you. Like, don't invest into things to keep up with society. Invest into things that could keep up with your health, your mental health, your better in spirit, your space and the people around you, and that's it. You know. Um, this future is gonna lead into a divide of plastic people, which already exist, and people who don't put plastic things on their face. So you're gonna kind of be considered unnorm. You don't look as presentable as human. But you know, you're still gonna need each other. Um, Physical media, late night snack, baby. Late night snack. Everybody want to have their own magic trick to their success in life. That's most people around you, which I think is lame. But people who each one teach one, that's a fantastic thing. That you could open each other's minds to different things that could help you grow, give you options to different paths of how to grow. But a lot of people just keep information to themselves. And I would say YouTube is one of the best apps in the past 20 years, maybe. If not longer. YouTube is one of the greatest apps ever, bro. You can learn so much about for yourself and people around you on YouTube. Dating advice? Any ethnicity the man or woman is, you could go in YouTube about their community and people. You can hear all the stories in the world until you mess around when engaging with a person from a different ethnicity. They will likely come out with saying something that you've already learned upon YouTube about from their community. So it teaches you how to fix machines. There's different communities that teach you how to fix different kind of machines. Learn math, learn physics, learn almost anything you need to learn. How to cut down a tree, grow a tree, filter water, drink your own pee. You know, it's so many resources that I would definitely say through a lot of the resources upon YouTube, you shouldn't get swallowed up by a lot of the trends that aren't real investments you can make back from. You know, because I would tell you from last year to right now, this is two times in a row, whatever. It's the same scenario where if I wanted to like the next day have a good payout, I could have did that. But the reason I don't resell over these years right now, whatever, and I just strictly collect is because of what I've noticed what happened with the Nintendo era and Genesis and like the first maybe gen to 2 gens of games. Yo, them prices skyrocket for complete games. So that is gonna come eventually to the PlayStation. It's gonna seep right into the PlayStation. Eventually, right after that, PS2 is gonna seep all to the net. Is think of it like water, and think of like there's a line right here, and the water's down here. When it comes to certain objects in the decades that pass, think of water as like the price of things. It's gonna just gonna keep going up and up and up and up and up eventually. So, yo, a lot of Nintendo games complete in box 100 and up. A lot of them. A lot of Super Nintendo games 100 and up. The next era after that is PlayStation, is 3D CD games. And then most likely it will also follow suit with the N64 as well. So once that start happening with the PS1 era, which I'm happy I started grabbing a lot of those games now and not later, because if later might not be able to buy those is going to start hitting a lot of 100 marks. For a lot of common basic games in the PS1 era is eventually going to hit in the 100 marks. Sega Saturn. I'm talking about like Crash Bandicoots that's already $50, and the Twisted Metals that's already $50. They're eventually going to be $100. Twisted Metal long box I think is 100 and some odd bucks actually already. So that is a game at a certain time you could have bought $5 to $10. And eventually Spiral the Dragon, eventually a lot of games like for like the past 15 years or 20 years you could have bought for like $1, $2 are gonna become $50 to $100 games. Then it's gonna be the next era, PS2. Next era, PS3. Next era, PS4. And when I mean next era, it doesn't have to be like for those 4 eras 40 years from now. That could be over the next 10 to 15 years. It could start in the next 3 to 5. This could all start out to happen when it comes to even DVD movies and whatever. It could start happening in the next 3 to 5 years, and then in the next 10 to 15, who knows? Who knows? So I'm appreciative to have obtained what I got to obtain. I would have liked to get more Nintendo games and maybe Game Boy Color games, maybe Super Nintendo. I would definitely say Sega Genesis, Sega Saturn. I would definitely say Sega Genesis, Sega Saturn, some more RPGs from the PS1, PS2 era. Um, but I kind of, not to say I kind of missed out on. The only way, like, upon this channel, y'all, and this is what goes to what I found yesterday. If I'm lucky to find Silent Hill 1, Silent Hill 2, Silent Hill 3, let's just say those 3 games for the from the PS1, PS2. It's like through a yearly cycle. I haven't found those games yet, matter of fact, to get for the low. I have in these 3-4 years I have not found those games one time yet to get for the low. So that's how the wind blows. They're all in the 100 and change mark. The cheapest I got of two Silent Hills for the PS4, PS2 was 70 and $65 or something from a Goodwill. And aside from that, nah, I never no. If it happens, it's over this, and with which I'm coming into a 4 year span of collecting. If somebody lists and it's part of a collection or whatever, I'm luckily one time I almost came across the I almost maybe got that opportunity one time from a listing in Brooklyn, and I don't know what happened to the listing, but one time I almost got Ruler Rose, in the Silent Hills and all that. It was like the mo. I kind of missed out on the listing, but like that was the one. That was the freaking one, and the price was like really good. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I saw one listing in Brooklyn, New York, and I think I missed out on it. So this is not common. It's not common. Yo, I've been looking for horror VHSs for the low. I hardly ever. I don't 1000% search for it, but hardly see that. So like sleepy nap time. Yeah, we'll see what the future holds. I got 2 Dead Space collections, 1 through 3 for the PS3. It would have been smart for them to create they should have created an HD collection for that for the PS4, to be honest, or the PS5. They need to create an HD collection of that. Really, they should create an HD collection like how they just did it for the Devil May Cry for the PS4. They need to create an HD collection all over again for the Ratchet and Clank and the rest of the games. And I would highly consider it to anybody who, physical media again. Get your hands on the HD collections. Get your hands on those HD collections. Those aren't going to be cheap forever. I have an assumption they're all going to really go up in price. It's a form of them HD collections are a form of convenience. There was a disc. I only bought one disc up for the Xbox a long while back. Was the Rare collection on Xbox 360. It got Battletoads, the arcade game on it. That's the only physical print of that game, which I would say is a gem. It got a bunch of gems on it, to be honest with you. On that one CD, it got a ton of gems on it. But for me, I would consider especially like that Battletoads arcade game on a physical disc. That's the first printing of it to publish on a physical disc. So it's tons of games. There's a Castlevania Symphony of the Night, I think, on the Xbox 360 that might only be like $20-$30. Buy that now. It's a Konami compilation disc. I think with 3 games or whatever, and it got Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I don't think that this is that expensive. That's a good disc to buy. That's Xbox Marketplace is closing eventually. Castlevania. Any Symphony of the Night discs are not cheap. Um, but leave likes, leave positivity. Don't be ghost stalking me. Show positivity. Share likes. Follow. Thumbs up. Thumbs down. 2 L's make a W. Smash the thumbs, man. Smash the thumbs, please. But yeah. Another day, another bagel. Another day, another bagel.